Hello, hello. Hey, 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 my lovely solopreneurs. Welcome back. Welcome back. Dr. Nick here, wellness coach and wholeness advocate, and you are listening to Holistic Mental Health for Women Solopreneurs, where we prioritize our wellness to create sustainable impact without burning out. All right, so today we're going to have a little bit of a story time. I'm going to share one of the moments that reinforced the importance of pausing. I'll tell you why I absolutely had to finally pause in this situation and why I believe pausing is one of the most strategic, most powerful strategies you can use when you're trying to create something that truly matters to your heart. All right, let's go. So, if you're like me, and I believe in many ways we are all like this, somewhere along the way, we learned consistency in showing up and persevering through all the things. But often, we never learned how to slow down, stop, pivot, and eventually, all of that going and going and going and going catches up with you. All right, let's dive into my story. I'm going to take you guys back to the summer of 2020, a season when all of us around the world were dealing with a lot. You remember, along with everything that was happening in our world at the time, I was also trying to recover from a car accident and I was a full time doctoral student. I was doing assignments, I was nursing injuries, I was trying to hold everything together. And from the outside, I probably looked fine, but internally, I was exhausted. And not just tired, like you're tired at the end of the day. I mean, completely and totally exhausted, running on fumes, completely empty, like on E. Let me remind you what was happening in our world at that time, just in case you have forgotten. Our world was shut down. Here in the US, we'd experienced three highly publicized police involved killings. Tensions were extremely high. Also, I tend to have a pretty diverse group of friends. And what that meant was my social media timelines were like a war zone. Honestly, it was awful. I was trying to focus on my schoolwork, which just kept coming. I was dealing with physical pain from my car accident, and I was dealing with my own broken heart from seeing people that I loved tearing each other apart on social media. We were all struggling. But as a highly empathic person who feels so much in my body, I was quickly approaching a breakdown, but I didn't actually know that. So I kept going and I kept going and I kept going until one day I couldn't keep going. I had a complete and total meltdown somewhere around May 30th of 2020. I mean, I was hysterical, you guys. I couldn't function. I couldn't read or write any of the many assignments I had. My physical pain from the car accident had increased. I remember it like it was yesterday. I sat down in a deep panic and frantically typed an email to the dean of my school and the director of my program, telling them I couldn't continue. Honestly, I wish I still had access to that school email to remember exactly what I said, but I do remember what happened next. I received not an email response, but a phone call from the director of my program, Dr. Kathleen Patterson. The moment I saw her name on my phone, I gasped. As soon as I answered, I heard, "Hi, Nicole. It's Dr. Patterson. What's going on?" Okay, you have to understand that I hold so much respect for Dr. Patterson. She is truly a phenomenal woman who carries herself with such grace, confidence, and steadiness. As soon as I heard her voice, I completely burst into tears. I had spent months just surviving. I was stuffing my feelings and emotions. I felt I had to keep pushing, though. I was producing, but I wasn't well. In this moment with Dr. Patterson, I'd come to a place where I could no longer override what was happening in my spirit, mind, and body. Dr. Patterson held space for me that day to express all the pain in my heart, all the race and identity challenges from my past that had been triggered by the events in the world. She let me share how I no longer felt like I belonged or could function in our doctoral program. She listened so patiently as I poured my heart out to her. She's not a crier. And to this day, I continue to be so grateful that she provided space for me to fall apart while she stayed steady as a rock. What happened next impacted me so deeply and has truly changed my life forever. I wish I could have recorded her words so I could tell you everything she spoke to me that day. But what stuck with me the most is she gave me permission to pause. She gave me permission to shift gears. As I told her I wanted to give up, shut down, and not feel the pain I was in, she encouraged me to take some time to sit, to process. And this is what I will never forget. She said to me, Nicole, I feel you have something to speak into what's happening into our world right now. Silence. I remember telling her, I don't want to speak into what's happening into our world right now. When I look back on that moment, I laugh, but I was dead serious. I wanted nothing to do with it. So then she went on to say, just pray about it, Nicole. If you decide you need to shift your research focus to the issue of unity and the wholeness of society and people, you can do that. She encouraged me. She validated me. She prayed for me. She allowed me the room to sit and pause to consider how everything going on in my life and the world was impacting my capacity. That pause changed me. After talking with one other professor, Dr. Richardson, another woman I hold in such great regard, she echoed Dr. Patterson. She told me to take some time and think about what I wanted my research to truly be. My conversations with these two powerful women gave me permission to pause, and that pause shifted the entire trajectory of my doctoral research. If I had not followed through with the pause, I'm not sure how I would have made it through that summer. I was struggling so badly, and I was afraid that if I slowed down, I'd be flooded with all the hurt and pain that 2020 had sparked in me. I was trying to keep up with the responsible, on top of it all Nicole that didn't need any help with school and who could just push through as if the world wasn't in an uproar all around me. Somewhere deep inside, I was terrified that if I stopped, I would be consumed with emotions I didn't want to face. I felt I wouldn't be able to get back up and keep going. And what's interesting is I still fought the pause a bit. It was uncomfortable to sit and reflect on feelings and situations I didn't want to look at. It was scary to think about sharing my pain and experiences within my doctoral work. But once the noise settled, once I was able to think beyond the panic and see beyond the tears, I started noticing things. I started hearing myself again. I started settling into what the Holy Spirit was speaking to me. I started reconnecting with part of my heart and how all of the moments of my life influenced who I was called to be. Slowly, the pause started revealing things I could not see while I was constantly moving. I found clarity. I found healing. I found peace. I found space to breathe. I found parts of myself that had gotten buried underneath responsibility, urgency, and survival mode. The pause helped me hear what was true beneath all of the noise. Dr. Patterson and Dr. Richardson created a safe space within an extremely rigorous academic environment for me to pause and return to center, to allow God's voice in to provide clarity and direction for what He was preparing for me through my doctoral work. Because of that pause, I was able to tap into creativity, peace, and the acknowledgement of who I was and where I'd been and how all those pieces lined up for my purpose. Looking back now, I realize that moment in 2020 taught me something I now carry into every area of my life, including my business. It taught me that I cannot operate well when I'm emotionally flooded. That seems obvious, right? But so often we continue to try to operate from a place where we are truly emotionally flooded. I cannot create clearly when my nervous system is constantly overwhelmed. I cannot sustainably carry vision while disconnected from what's happening in my spirit, mind, and body. These realizations have completely changed the way I approach dream pursuit, leadership, wellness, creativity, and entrepreneurship. Because now I have the irrevocable understanding that the vision cannot be separate from a regular rhythm of pause. Pausing is actually the very thing that protects it. So, ladies, let me ask you, when is the last time you paused? Now, I want you to really sit with this question. Don't just gloss over what I'm asking. Lean into this. When is the last time you truly paused? And I don't mean scrolled. I don't mean planned. I don't mean reorganized your to-do list. I don't mean pivoted into another strategy. I mean truly paused. When is the last time you let yourself be still long enough to hear what was happening inside of you? Because I think a lot of us are functioning in survival mode and calling it productivity. A lot of us are carrying exhaustion in our bodies while still trying to build beautiful, sustainable things. A lot of us are disconnected from ourselves and don't even realize it yet because we've been moving on autopilot for so long. But here's the thing. Not only are you allowed to pause, you were created to pause. You were created for regular rhythms of pause. Not because you're weak, not because you're quitting, but because you are human. And because the woman building the dream deserves nurture and care, just like everyone she's trying to build for. Ladies, here's my invitation to you today. Just sit with it. Don't rush it. But think about this. What might become more clear if you finally gave yourself the space to be still and breathe? What might you hear if the noise settled? What part of you has been trying to get your attention? This week in my newsletter, The Pause for Solos, I'll be sharing a pause strategy you can use when you feel emotionally flooded or just altogether overwhelmed and you need to settle yourself so you can move forward. If you're not already getting my emails, you'll want to join me on Substack at The Pause for Solos so you can get the strategies I'll be sharing. The link will be in my show notes. Ladies, this conversation about caring for yourself and spirit, mind, and body is foundational. It's not just about your business, it's about your life, your entire being. And your business cannot operate outside of this. Let's take a pause for a moment. Center yourself. Let the message of today settle in your spirit. Remember, take time for you today. Throughout this week, even if it's just brief moments of pause to return to center. All of it matters. Every pause counts. Until next time, ladies, nurture the wholeness within.